what I love, Steve? Being a jerk.
Listen, dude, we've been doing a show for 90 minutes.
I had a chance to listen to the last call. We game plan for PJ Hall.
Uncle.
I have a list of guys I would never hang out with. Your name is right on the top.
Do you like the worst song bracket we're doing?
It's considerably better than the supplement bracket. Let's start with that.
I won a limbo contest.
Oh, my God.
Fran Brown joining us.
These guys are working their butts off. They expect to see their fans.
You want extra money just because you're North Carolina? I'm in all right
What
now.
an honor for you and Jordan to be next to me
every
daily.
day.
This is Orange Nation.
There's music, there's fun, there's us. It's everything you could want all in one place.
With Stephen Fonte and Paulie Sibilia.
Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to have you with us alongside Paulie Sibilia. I'm Stephen Fonte. It's a Monday edition of Orange Nation College Basketball back in our lives. Opener for the SU men.
Who needs it?
We've got Nate Champion, the head coach of Lemoyne, coming up at 12:15. Mike McAllister, publisher of CuseNation.com, will be on with us at 12:30. We will have Fran Brown's press conference live as we do at 1 o'clock every Monday throughout the season. Plus, we'll mix in your phone calls throughout at 315-437-7644. What's up, Paulie?
Not much, Steve. How are you?
I'm great.
A lot of people happy about the 6 wins. They're going bowling again. 3 straight years, right? Is that 3?
It is 3 straight years. First time that they've done this 3 years in a row since the late 90s. That was the last time they did it. And I loved Fran Brown's reaction to that. I don't know if you heard the press conference. I know you were up in the booth. But Fran Brown was asked about it, and he just said, well, you know, what does it mean to be bowl eligible? And his answer was, we were always going to be bowl eligible. I love
that.
That
was already going to happen. I don't really care about that. Sorry, because then y'all will say, who does he think he is? It's not that way. But, like, the bowl game wasn't, like, the mission. You know, that was just a part of the mission. So along the way, we were able to accomplish something that we knew that we would accomplish anyway. So you know how you guys are. We supposed to win the national championship. Today y'all trying to act all different about it. But remember last week, a lot of those things that were going on. So in my mindset, it's just like I always knew that we would be bowl eligible because we're good enough. And now we're just trying to continue to capitalize and push on so that way we can get to where we truly want to get to at the end of the year.
I love the answer. I do. He genuinely just kind of dismissed it as, well, we were always going to be bowl eligible. And they are. They're 6-2. And again, not to put too much on this one game, but it truly felt like this was going to be a swing game for both teams, for Virginia Tech and Syracuse. The winner has a good chance to finish in the upper echelon, upper tier of the ACC conference. And the loser is kind of left answering some questions. And where do they go from here? And, you know, the loser probably would have to settle for mediocrity this year. And Syracuse dug deep. It wasn't looking good for the first half. Midway through the third, down 21-3. Justice Ross Simmons' first career catch takes it to the house. And that play just seemed to change everything, Paulie.
Yeah. And I noticed something else, Steve. Did you notice that fans left at halftime?
Yeah.
And Twitter had given up on this team?
Yeah, I mean, the Twitter part doesn't surprise me. The leaving at halftime kind of surprised me.
Like, it didn't feel like the game was ever out of reach, right? Like they're driving at the end of the first half and they fumble.
Right.
And you're like, well, they can move the ball on these guys. It's not going to be a problem coming back.
And we had seen that story before, right, where, you know, we've seen Syracuse get off to some slow starts and then, you know, turn it on, whether it's the end of the first half, early second half, whatever the case may be. We've seen that story before, and Virginia Tech was playing without its starting quarterback and its, you know, nationally ranked tailback. And even though they got off to a good start, you felt like, I'm with you. I 100% felt like Syracuse was still in the game. Now, when they fell down 21-3, you're like, okay, they need to score on this drive, right?
Yeah.
And then Justice Ross Simmons said, okay, I will do that for you.
Yeah. You just got to stick with it, right? You can't be mad at people who said that 6-6 was going to be okay this year and then give up on the team at 6-6, right? Or when they're 5 wins. Oh, it's over now. Here we go. No, if you thought they were going to win 8 games, 9 games, stick with them. It's doable now, right?
Well, it's very doable now.
BC, you could win. Cal, you could win. UConn, you could win. Miami is an uphill fight.
Yeah, it certainly is. And now with Clemson losing, I mean, Miami, it's wide open now for Miami to go to the college football playoff.
That being said, you got 2 games on the road, too, which isn't easy.
Sure.
You don't just go on the road and win.
Yeah, this game on Saturday was enormous because you felt like you could count on UConn being a win. And now, by coming back and winning that game, I think we both said if you split those road games, BC and Cal, now, if you split those, you would feel pretty good about it. Now, if you split those road games between BC and Cal, and then you take care of UConn, you don't even have to beat Miami, and you get to 8 wins. And that's kind of like your baseline right now. So it was a huge win for a lot of reasons. And I couldn't help but think as I was watching the game, Paulie, like we hear about the dart mentality. And every coach has their thing. And I think we saw what that philosophy is all about in that game, right? Detailed, accountable, relentless, tough. To be down 21-3.
We saw the relentless
We
part,
saw the tough part.
Yeah.
I think you've seen accountable throughout the season. Through even Kyle McCord coming off that Pitt game. He was accountable. The offense was accountable. Fran Brown talked in the press conference after the game about how he got in the ears of the coaches at halftime and said, we need to be accountable, And they're obviously detailed in the second half to be able to win that game in overtime. I don't know, like it doesn't seem like lip service with him. It seems like, okay, this is what we're all about. And then they go out and then they showed us that that's what they're all about.
LA Orange has a flip side. The Stanford loss looks FSU bad. Look, they lost. Should they have beaten Stanford? Probably. But you got to look at this big picture. They're building a program here. Their first-year head coach. It was, their second ACC game. You're going to slip up. You're going to have games that you could have won that you didn't, like that. And then there's going to be games where you get smoked sometimes. And they've had both those things happen to them. And they've won a lot of games. They've won more games. And you just let it roll. If they get to 8, you're going to be psyched for this year, right?
Yeah, I think you should be.
Yeah.
I do think that the expectations change with the way they started. And so the people that were thinking 6-6 was acceptable, I think, many of them upped the ante a little bit and said,
I was one of them.
Yeah, and I get that. But I do feel like 8 is the number that keeps the momentum going, right? That shows improvement, and it's been a good solid 8 wins if they get there. They earned these. They earned that win over Virginia Tech. They earned that win over UNLV, who I happen to think is a really good team. I tweeted something out about Syracuse came back and beat a good team, and I had one guy on Twitter give me backlash about good team.
Backup quarterback, backup running back.
Virginia Tech's a good team. They are. And they're one possession away in 3 games from being undefeated. Probably, they should have beaten Miami. Got robbed of that one. Virginia Tech's a good team. Let's go to the phone lines. Dave in Syracuse kicking us off. Hey, Dave.
Hey, guys. I'm looking forward to tonight's basketball game. I'm going to the game tonight at the Dome. I also want to say, if the Cowboys were to fire Mike McCarthy, I think they should try to get Fran Brown to go over there. He's a great coach. What he's done with this team is phenomenal, and I'm really psyched about this football team. I really am.
All right, Dave. Appreciate you checking in.
Got to crowbar them Cowboys in.
I mean, it is that that's the thing with Fran Brown is a lot of people said, well, if he comes here and he's too good too quickly, then you worry about him leaving.
He's not going to the Cowboys,
right?
That'd be a Giants. Although we did see one go to the Bills from.
That is true. That is true. I do think that the job he has done has been impressive, and it isn't just recruiting and bringing in better talent. I think we've seen him now. There's a big enough sample size, Paulie. We've seen that he's pretty good in close game situations, right? They win the UNLV game in overtime. They win this one in overtime. I know, Stanford, he put on himself with, put the, Clarence Lewis, put the young man in a difficult situation on that 4th down play. But he's been really good in close game situations. Even the NC State game, Georgia Tech. I mean, they both got close at the end, and Syracuse was able to win those. So I do think that that's a really good sign. People were wondering, can this guy coach? Yeah, I think that question has been answered. The other Dave in Syracuse joining us now. Hey, Dave.
Hey, guys. A couple really quick points. I agree with everything you guys have been saying. I think that game Saturday was the difference between 6 and 7 wins or 8 and 9 wins.
Yeah.
And they pulled it out. And, who cares? The Stanford game, yeah, that does hurt. But Paulie just made a good point. take another game that, like past Saturday, maybe we would have lost that game. So, if he gets 8 wins his first year, that's great. The other thing, you guys opened up about attendance. I could not believe the number of people leaving at halftime or after regulation. I can't beating the crowd in an overtime game. I just don't get it. And the last one is the students did not show up. The dome was loud, but there was a big eyesore with nobody in the upper deck in the student section.
Yeah, it did not look great. I was also questioning playing into that end of the stadium in overtime because the other side was more full.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I thought the same thing. I think it's just force of habit that they're taught to, if we go into overtime, let's go towards the students because they'll make the difference. But, it was a poor showing from the students, unfortunately. All right, 315-437-7644 is the number.
How do you get rid of the here we go again mentality? Jeez, will 1 year fix that?
No, I don't think so. Do you?
No, because I look at next,
schedule next year is brutal.
I look at that, but then I also look at this year's. Everybody was like, this year's schedule's easy, and they faced 3 ranked teams.
Yeah, next year looks brutal on paper.
Clemson and Florida State both are not as good as we thought they would. Clemson's good, but
Clemson laid an egg, yeah.
But they tend to do that once a year.
They do, right? They do, and you got Tennessee, you got Notre Dame on the schedule next year. Next year's schedule is very difficult, and you don't know who the quarterback's going to be, obviously. Although at this time last year, we didn't know who the quarterback was going to be this year. So, you're right.
Is there a Kyle McCord floating around?
Well, and that's why I do think that this year is so very important to show that you can get results, right? I mean, there's this stud recruit that they're after from a quarterback perspective. Luke Carney, like you want to show him that you can come here, you can throw the ball a lot, and you can win games, and you can compete for an ACC championship. Now, they're probably not going to compete for an ACC championship this year, but I think 8 or 9 wins shows that they're certainly moving in the right direction. So that win Saturday was enormous.
And if you want to be on the big stage, you're going to get it next year. You're going to start off the season at Tennessee. You're going to play at Notre Dame. You're going to play at Clemson. It's going to be
Tennessee neutral site. No,
Atlanta.
I know.
Atlanta. So, all right.
I bet the representatives of the Peach Bowl were there.
Yeah.
On Saturday. Talked to them afterwards for a bit.
I saw them for a second too. I thought that at halftime they were both probably saying, "Well, we're good. We're good. We're gonna go check out some other ACC teams."
Right. No, this is their one stop.
Can we catch a flight to anywhere?
SMU?
Yeah.
I mean, SMU's looking really good right now. No, I asked him, I said, where do you guys go from here? And he said, this is our one trip. He said, we're kind of the low men on the totem pole. We get one trip every year. This happens to be ours this year. I was like, okay, well.
Yeah, they were taking pictures of us while we were broadcasting.
Yeah, they couldn't wait to go to Dino. So hopefully Dino treated them right. I'm sure they did, and they saw a heck of a comeback. All right, we'll take a timeout here. We've got Nate Champion, head coach of the Lemoyne men's basketball team, joining us on the other side. Back after this on ESPN Radio.
9 Stephen Fonte and 24/7 Sports Mike McAllister on the Quad 1 hour before all Syracuse football home games for the RomanoCars.com pregame show. We are the pulse of the Orange.
Orange Ohana, it was nice
Radio.
meeting you. Nice meeting you, Orange Ohana, on the Quad Saturday.
Steve.
Glad you came over and said hello.
Did you make him kiss the ring?
Please stop it. We chatted for a couple minutes.
Do you think Lemoyne's flying to the game today? Should I ask?
That is ridiculous.
Are you guys flying?
Ubering? One game you can Uber to every year.
This is what it's like down in North Carolina, though. Like they're all just like right there.
That's true.
If I said I drive to every game living down there, everybody would be like, no crap.
Yes, you will.
It is Subscriber Monday.
Okay, guys, you ready? Hit the buzzer when you have the answer. The question is, which item is popular again? VHS tapes, Beanie Babies, or 90s baseball cards? Yes, Brian. Well, Paulie's got all.
Are you erasing your ACC championship emails yet?
So it's funny. Who asked that?
Tom's anxiety just brought up how they could bet.
Oh, I got one on Friday, and I went to delete it, and I was like, I know I'm going to be asked this question next week, so I'm not going to delete it. I wanted to, but stranger things have happened, but they're not going. You?
I don't get them. They go to Matt.
Gotcha.
Matt handles my processing and paperwork.
I literally was like, I clicked on it to delete it, and I was like, no. Because if I delete this one, I got to delete them all. It's not going to happen, Matt and Manlius, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I'll be here for the basketball game that's going on at the exact same time as the football game. I wonder if they'll move the basketball game. Is it on extra?
I would assume so.
Because if it is, they could potentially move that, I'm wondering. Yeah, a lot of people not fans of the CW broadcast. Okay.
So should we wait to go to him until you tell us it's okay? Okay.
If we see him up on the phone, we'll do that. Are you loaning Lemoyne your helicopter to fly the team over to the Dome?
Funny. Syracuse would need SMU to lose twice. Is that how could that happen?
I looked at the Duke-Miami score, and I was like, oh, that's a close game. And then I looked again, and it was a blowout. We were all watching the Bills this weekend, though, apparently, because we all texted at the same time, the text thread. I was in a different text thread.
BC, Virginia, Cal. SMU's not losing two of those games.
Because Mike could have made that kick that Bass made.
Yeah, right.
Pounded it through.
I don't know how you struggle as much as he's been struggling and then kick a 61-yard. I mean, maybe there was no maybe it is.
We're good.
And there was he felt no pressure and he just laid into one. I mean, that was good from 70. He didn't just clear the crossbar. Insane.
Welcome back to Orange Nation, the artist of the day, the Pretenders. No, this isn't what you think it is. This is My City Was Gone, Steve. We're doing the Pretenders today as our artist of the day.
All right. And with that, we go to our guest line to bring on our first guest today. So pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Lemoyne men's basketball team, Nate Champion. Opener tonight for Syracuse and Lemoyne inside the Dome. Coach, great to chat with you. College basketball season is back. You must be excited. How are you doing today?
Yeah, it's the best time of the year, right? I mean, aside from maybe March Madness, but the start of the season is always special. So I appreciate you guys having me on.
All right, so I guess let's start with the opportunity tonight to go into the Dome and to tip this thing off against the Syracuse Orange. What does this mean to you and your program to be able to open up in the Dome like this against a quality opponent like Syracuse?
Yeah, I think anytime you can play against some of the best competition in the country, obviously Syracuse being in one of the best Power 5 conferences in the ACC, it's always a great opportunity for us. But, just with both schools being in Syracuse, I think it's great for the community and always great for Lemoyne to be on a national stage as well. So really happy that we're opening up with Syracuse and excited for the game tonight.
Is this a series that you can envision being an every year thing, much like, Syracuse plays Colgate every year and Cornell every year? Can you envision Lemoyne, Syracuse every season? Would you like it to be an annual thing?
Yeah, I think it would be great. I mean, Coach Autry's been great to me, since moving back here to Syracuse, and he's been supportive of what we do. And I think one of the biggest things for us is it's great for the community and great for our school too. So anytime we can play Syracuse, I think it's a great opportunity for us to be on that stage. And of course, I think it could be something that happens every year, but we'll see.
All right, year 2 for you guys at the Division I level, and last season I thought, from the outside looking in, looked like it went very well. You finish above 500 in conference play, certainly held your own, and now you get ready for year 2. What did you learn throughout that? You were kind of thrown into the fire last year. Let's be honest. What did you learn from last year that now you can apply as season 2 tips off?
I think one of the biggest things is just you have to be ready to go every single night. Doesn't matter the opponent that's stepping on the floor. They have Division I players as well. And the other thing that I took from it was just the amount of depth that each team has at the Division I level. I think that was one of the biggest things for me was, there were a few times where guys coming off the bench were scoring in the 20s, and, we were lucky to have 7 or 8 guys that could play in the game. And, I think we recruited to that pretty well. And, hopefully we can showcase that tonight and throughout the season.
All right, let's talk about the roster if we could. And, Central New York fans will recognize several of the names on your roster. Will Amika for West Genesee, Nate Fouts from Skinny Atlas. I know Trevor Rosa on the team as well. I believe he's injured at the moment. But I guess let's start with the Section 3 stars that you got on your roster. Did it just kind of happen that way? Or did you, seek out a couple of guys that you knew were really good that might be looking for new homes?
Well, we always try to, keep tabs on the local talent, and us being Division II at the time that, most of these guys were playing except for Nate Fouts and Dangarang. I mean, both of them we had as freshmen and have developed into pretty good players. And then, Will Amika transferring from Albany, we were able to get him, and Trevor Rowe transferring from Radford. So, obviously those two were Division I players out of high school, and we were Division II. So sometimes, we weren't the top of the list for some of these guys that could play at a higher level, but now we can offer that, and you're starting to see some of the top talent come back or stay in the area.
Had your one and only exhibition game the same night that Syracuse had its second. So I don't know how much, local fans saw you guys that night, but you put up 66 first half points in your exhibition game against Mansfield. You scored 116. For those who haven't seen you play, you guys like to get up and down the floor, score fast, play fast. Can you, I guess, speak to your style and what fans can expect to see in the Dome tonight?
Yeah, I think it's a fun style of play, just to play in, honestly. And a lot of it just has to do with sharing the ball and playing a team game. I feel like that's playing the right way. And it doesn't really matter who gets the basket at the end of the day, as long as we're getting the best shot available. And that best shot can come with 28 seconds on the shot clock, or it can come with 1. But we're just trying to work the ball into spots where we feel like we can, create advantages on the offensive end. And then on the defensive end, we compete and we try to rebound the best way we can. And I feel like when we do that, we give ourselves opportunities to win games. And I thought that showed last year when we had a full Division II roster, and hopefully we can show it off again this year at a little bit of a higher level.
We touched on the personnel on your roster, at least the local personnel on your roster with Amika and Fouts and Dangarang, as you mentioned, Trevor Rowe. Who are some of the other guys that we should be keeping an eye on tonight?
Well, I think one of our key returners is O'Cypher Owens. O'Cypher was from Orlando, Florida, and went to Indian River Junior College. Came to us last year, had a really good start to the season, and he's continued to grow as an overall player, and someone that continues to buy into what we do. So I'm expecting some big things from him. And then we got a few new guys too, obviously, with graduating 6 players from last year's team and losing only 1 to the portal. There was, a lot of people that we had to replace, and we got some really good additions. Obviously, we spoke about the local kids, but we have 3 international students, all transfers, one from, Siena and Zek Tekin, and then 2 from UT Arlington and Fred Zbagatskis and Dwayne Chroma. And obviously we added Robbie Carmody, who was at Notre Dame to start and then was at Mercer last year, and he's with us. So, we have some guys that have been around a little bit and know how to play college basketball. So we're hoping that pays dividends for us.
Get ready to take the floor tonight, 7 o'clock inside the Dome. What stands out to you about this Syracuse team that you're going to go up against?
I mean, they're extremely talented, and Red's done a great job with them just in recruiting to his style. Obviously, last year, inheriting a team that was mainly recruited by Coach Boeheim and others. But, I thought he did a great job last year getting that team to play together down the stretch, and obviously now with him having a year to recruit and kind of figure out what fits his style of coaching, I think he's done a great job of catering to that, and he's put a roster together that's has a lot of talent, a lot of potential, and obviously we're going to have to do our best to slow him down tonight, and hopefully we can do that.
All right, lay out the blueprint if you could, not to give away any secrets going into this game, but what's kind of the blueprint for you guys tonight? To be in it with a chance to win it in the last 10 minutes or so of this game.
Yeah, we got to score more points than the other team. No, I'm just joking with you. I think the best thing for us is going to be, how well can we take care of the basketball? Can we withstand some runs and put together some runs of our own? And if we can take care of the ball and rebound, I think we'll be okay.
All right, Coach. Well, it's a pleasure chatting with you. Glad college basketball is back. Thanks for finding a few minutes for us on a game day. Best of luck tonight. Best of luck throughout the season.
All right, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
All right, Nate Champion, head coach of Lemoyne. 7 o'clock tip inside the Dome tonight between Syracuse and Lemoyne. Both teams getting started. It is opening day of college basketball, and with that, we'll hit a timeout.
I cropped myself out of that interview.
Did
Steve.
you?
Yeah, saved you the time.
I didn't even notice. I used you, by the way, last week. I used another snippet from Thursday with Fran Brown. You were in it. Made sure that you were in it. We'll take a timeout here. Mike McAllister joins us next on ESPN Radio.
Did you know that the Pretenders did not want Rush using that song? They were like adamant against it, but they came to see, this is where life is good. They came together and decided that all the royalties from that song, from Rush playing it, would go to a dog shelter.
Really?
Yeah.
I bet it was quite a big payday.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, thanks, Garrett Bobby Ferguson. I dress like this all the time. Thanks for noticing. When I'm going to be out in public, I dress nice. I had a filling fallout last night, Steve, while I was sleeping. I woke up and I was like, I spit out like a piece of silver. No, I'm a man, Steve.
I wouldn't know. I don't have any cavities. So I don't know.
Of course you don't.
Never had a filling fallout. So
of course you don't.
I didn't know if your tooth was sore today. I don't know. I've never had one.
No, I don't think it's the whole thing. They're going to see me tomorrow. Like, I don't think it was the whole thing. I think it was just part. I've had them pop out before. Home. You should go home after the game. By the way, you should. I just sent your email off to the powers that be, so you should be getting your email soon. Let me know if you don't get it by Friday.
What are you talking about?
Dominic. I'm hooking him up with some tickets.
Oh, gotcha.
He got jealous that I offered Mark tickets. So I told him I'd help him. Go to the varsity, you go to the dyno, you go anywhere. Possibilities. It'll come from Ticketmaster. You've got 1 minute on the clock. Thank you. Steve just did the how much time? It'll either be Ticketmaster or SU. It's a McAllister Monday. You're going to be busy today. You better work your vocal cords. Figaro, Figaro, Figaro. Yeah, we already discussed that, Matt and Manlius. Yes, it is Subscriber Monday. Steve looking sharp today. Yeah, he does. I can't make fun of him. Is that a $5 tie?
No, it's not.
It doesn't look like it.
It's like a $40 tie.
Whoa. Whoa.
Got it from
No
Charney's,
cavities.
Charney's tie. We have a
No cavities, $40 tie.
yeah.
I bought a tie from Marshall's for $25, and then the actual tag came out. It was like $150.
Crazy.
Welcome back to Orange Nation. I think this is a first. I don't think we've done the Pretenders before.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Don't get me wrong. Syracuse, not Pretenders starting off November. Still a lot of November left.
That's right. November is for contenders, according
Not
to
the
Fran Brown.
Pretenders. We could double up with Mike McAllister today.
Football
It's a
and basketball.
McAllister Monday. Yeah, we got football, basketball. 2 weeks till Anthony Jr.
That's right.
announces. Lots going on.
All right, as we bring on our good friend Mike McAllister to talk SU football, SU basketball, we'll start football first. And, you know, I know there were a lot of, you know, Paulie brought it up at the top of the show, Mike. A lot of people in the Dome were like, here we go again. You know, November hits and the swoon starts and, you know, this team got off to a fast start. What we saw in that second half, though, it felt different. And it really seemed to change with that Justice Ross Simmons 55-yard catch and run. They're down 21-3 at that point. And it just really seemed to change the offense, the defense, the energy in the Dome. Everything seemed to change with that one play. Do you agree?
And I'll use my son as an example. Went to the game with my son. We sat in the stands. We're watching the game. And at halftime, he was pretty dejected. And when Virginia Tech went up 21-3, he was basically like, all right, let's go. There's no point in staying for this. And I kind of gave him a similar speech that was something along the lines of, I've seen enough games and been here enough for crazy things that it's too early to quit quite yet. And lo and behold, right after that touchdown happened, his energy jumped up. Everyone in our section, the entire building, you could tell it energized the team. And from that point on, they basically controlled the entire game. I know there were a couple of blips where, you know, Virginia Tech seemed to take a little bit of momentum back, but Syracuse made a play almost every single time that happened. So I agree with you. I think this was different. I don't think this is a game that they win in previous years. I don't think they would have won the UNLV game in previous years. I don't think they would have won the Georgia Tech game in previous years, to be quite frank with you. So this is a team that sits at 6-2, but very easily could be, you know, 3-5 or whatever it is if those three games had all gone differently. So I think it speaks to the culture. It speaks to Fran Brown and what he's trying to build, and should give Syracuse fans hope for the future.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it. There is a fine line between winning and losing in major Division I sports, and I think we've seen that this year with all these close games. And as you said, Q 6-2 right now, and there were a lot of players that had their fingerprints on this one. We mentioned Justice Ross Simmons, and you know we'll get to LaQuint Allen here in a moment. I think defensively, you know, Marlo Wax had his fingerprints on arguably the two biggest plays from a defensive standpoint in this game. Both turnovers, you know, he was involved in. You know, it kind of goes without saying that they missed him. I mean, how do things change, Mike, when Marlo Wax is back on the field?
Well, you know, first I
I think the entire defense needs to get some kudos. I understand they gave up 450 yards and almost 250 on the ground and 5 yards a carry, and those are certainly things you can discuss. But if they don't shut Virginia Tech out in the second quarter and hold them to only 7 in the third quarter, this might not have even been a game that Syracuse would have had a chance to realistically come back from. So they kept Syracuse in it and gave them a chance for the offense to finally get going, and then made those huge plays, as you mentioned, led by Marlo Wax. When he's out there, it changes things in that Fidel Diggs does not have to be a spy when you've got a mobile quarterback on the other side. He can just go back to being a defensive lineman and being a pure pass rusher. Now Marlo Wax can fill that role. And then when you want to bring extra pressure, he's one of your best blitzers, if not your best blitzer. So you can bring him as an extra rusher in certain situations, which they did on Saturday as well. And it just kind of changes the whole dynamic of the defense. They become a little bit faster. They're smarter. They've got more experience. And I think it makes them more versatile in terms of what they can do with the rest of their personnel. So there's no doubt the defense is significantly better when he's out there.
All right, let's move on to LaQuinn Allen. And we have been critical of the run game. I'm not going to put words in your mouth. Paulie and I have been critical of the run game, that it hasn't been consistent. They needed more out of it, and they got more out of it. They needed to rely on the run game against Virginia Tech, and LaQuinn Allen delivered. And you and I talked on the quad about there's not much behind LaQuinn Allen right now. His two backups are both out due to injury. If they're going to get it done with that position, it's going to be him and kind of him alone, and it was. We keep hearing Fran Brown say he's the best football player on the team, that he can play virtually any position. Do you think we're going to see him in the NFL someday? Do you think he's an NFL talent, or he's just a really, really good college player?
He looks like he's an NFL talent to me. Now, I don't know if that means he's going to be a starting running back that gets 25-plus carries a game and is kind of your workhorse. But, you look at a guy like Bucky Irving with Tampa Bay, or some of these guys that come in and are kind of like, second running backs on a lot of teams, but good catching the ball out of the backfield, good in pass protection, can run the ball a little bit too. Like, I could see him kind of taking on a role like that, but I certainly think he's talented enough, and there's some intangibles there too. Like, he's really, really tough. He makes clutch plays as well, some things that you can't exactly quantify in terms of measurables and stats and all of those things. And I think back to a guy like Zaire Franklin, who has a lot of those intangibles as well. Wasn't necessarily a high draft pick, but sort of found his role, and because of all of those intangibles has turned himself into a Pro Bowl caliber player. I could see LaQuinn Allen, because of his intangibles and some of those other things that you can't necessarily quantify, carving out a role in the NFL and being someone who's in the league for several years. All
right, this game, kind of opens up, 8-9 wins again. If they lose that one, it would have been tough to get to that benchmark. Next up is Boston College, and this is a BC team that got off to a really good start. They were 4-1. They've lost 3 games since, but they are coming off a bye. What are you anticipating this Saturday against Boston College?
Well, I think they're going to be ready to go and try to get their season back on track. That's for sure. The biggest thing with them is they've got some talent. They've got some good players. They always have a good offensive line, and you feel like they're going to play tough defense as well. But is the quarterback, Castellanos. Everything kind of flows through him. When he is throwing the ball well, their offense is really dynamic. The problem is he's not consistent in that area. He can completely change a game with his legs. He's a dynamic runner. But if you can contain that just a little bit and force him to be a consistent passer, that's really where they've gotten into trouble and struggled moving the ball. Not overly accurate, has some turnover issues. That's really the biggest thing from Syracuse's perspective. How do you prevent him from having a game where he runs for like 120 yards and a couple of touchdowns, keeps 3 or 4 drives alive just with his legs, and that sort of, breaks your back a little bit. I know Syracuse feels like they let one get away last year. I think Syracuse was a better football team than Boston College last year, but still lost to them in the Dome. And so a lot of those players that are coming back from that team are going to go into this feeling like, this is a game that they need to sort of avenge from last year. And then you've got a bunch of players from the New England area as well on this team that I think are going to go up there, look at it as a little bit of a homecoming, playing in front of friends and family, and be excited to try to get a win on a rival's home field. And the other part of it is this staff has recruited New England pretty hard since Fran Brown has taken over. They've got a few commits from that area in the 2025 class. They're targeting several more in 2026. So I think from Fran Brown's perspective, he's going to view this as important from that perspective as well.
You said, a rival of yours. Do you think this is like SU's biggest rival on the football field? This kind of comes up, once or twice every year, especially around this particular game. Do you look at BC as SU's biggest rival?
I kind of look at it from who's the team that the fan base hates the most as who's the biggest rival. And I think right now it's Pittsburgh. Even though Syracuse hasn't won down there in forever, I feel like they dislike Pittsburgh more than Boston College. Boston College is kind of a rivalry only because those teams have kind of been similar, even though Boston College has been a little bit better, a little bit more consistent. But neither of them has really been a contender in the ACC, a consistent top 25 caliber team playing in big bowl games. It's kind of just hovered around 500 or slightly better for the most part. And so I think there's some commonality there. But the funny thing is that the team that Syracuse fans, I think, hate the most is actually a team they don't play. I think it's Rutgers. It's if you could get Rutgers to play a non-conference game with Syracuse every single year, I think that would become their biggest rival.
And especially with Fran's ties to New Jersey, that would be something. And you bring up last year's game against BC. I think we all kind of agree that if that game goes the other way, you said Syracuse was the better team, probably should have won. If Syracuse wins that game, there's a darn good chance that Dino Babers is still the head coach here. Which is remarkable to think about, given everything that's transpired since then. In any event, before we let you go, let's get to basketball. Syracuse, Lemoyne, new season tips off tonight. What are you looking to get out of Syracuse? Not just this game, but I guess really in these first three games before they head down to New York City to take on Texas. What are you looking for?
Well, defense and rebounding. So, to echo something that Coach Autry has said in his post-game press conferences, specifically against Lemoyne, I want to see their perimeter defense play well because Lemoyne, in their most recent exhibition game, was lighting it up from the outside. They got a bunch of shooters. And so if Syracuse is not on their game defensively, Lemoyne's a team that could shoot themselves into making this thing a little bit sweaty for Syracuse fans down the stretch, so to speak. It's definitely a game I think that Lemoyne can win if they're shooting the ball well from the outside. So Syracuse has to try to make those shots as far out and as contested as possible. And then I want to see who the starting lineup is, what the rotation looks like in the first real game, and if we actually get to finally see Chance Westry out there. That's probably the number one thing I'm looking for is I'd like to see what he looks like out there on the floor, what role he's playing, how he looks, how he moves, and see some things about how he's going to fit within this Syracuse team.
Yeah, Syracuse had 6 different guys make threes in their most recent exhibition game, made 15 that night. Lemoyne had 8 different guys make threes, and the Dolphins were 18 for 38 from three-point range against Mansfield. They like to get up and down the floor. They like to score a lot of points, and you're right. If they're able to do that, they could make it interesting tonight inside the Dome. 7 o'clock tip between the Orange and Lemoyne. And at 7 o'clock, you and I are both going to be busy, Mike. We've got the Orange Nation football show tonight on News Channel 9. We look forward to seeing you then.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, Mike McAllister joining us here on the program. And with that, we'll hit a timeout. We'll wrap up hour number 1. Fran Brown, his weekly news conference coming up at the top of the hour.
I wouldn't bet on Westry yet, right? If we didn't see him in those 2 games, I wouldn't say you'd see him in this one.
I think if he's ready, you will see him. I don't know how much you'll see him, but I think they would like to get him up to speed sooner rather than later. Especially with, again, you've got these 3 games that you will be favored to win before you go down to New York to take on Texas. So
I don't think you just miraculously get better though. I think we
don't know collectively how much he's been working out. Even though we didn't see him in the exhibition game, is he?
But he didn't even warm up in the exhibition games. He warmed out hours before,
right? But I'm saying he's doing basketball things. We don't know how much.
I do basketball things every day. I shoot hoops in the Papa Shot.
You do.
I'm not playing tonight.
All right, that's fair. All right, we'll hit a timeout here. We'll wrap up hour number 1 next on ESPN Radio.
Save your stories and answer the phone.
Catch SU Hoops on TK99 and ESPN AM 1200.
Yeah, why don't you guys just crop me out and use this interview over again on Orange Nation? That's a good point. That's what I would do. Double booking. Or do you get more in depth?
It's different. We have video. It's fancier.
Do you do better interviews on TV?
No.
Mike needs a longer segment on Orange Nation TV. Why are you cutting his? If I were a betting man, I would say no. I don't think Westry is going to play tonight. Anything weird happen over the weekend in your life?
Weird?
Power wash, anything?
Oh, did you see that? Did you see what Kim posted on social media, by the way?
No.
You got to see this.
My algorithm only sends me politics.
Yeah, right. It feels like that.
Apparently, both of them are going to win in landslides, and I think that people are doing that just to sow discord for after the election.
So when we're doing our thing, Coach Jack stops by and she sees John Wiley. She's like, "Oh, boss man!" And she like takes a selfie. Look at this picture. She says, "Is Stephen Fonte actually in the photo? Or is he printed on the backdrop?" Look at this photo.
Why are you missing a? Yeah,
Doesn't it look like I'm part of the poster?
Yeah, why are you like that?
Isn't that so weird?
Steve lost his dimension. Steve's living in 2D.
I tweeted back and I said I was there and I don't know how to vote. It looks like I'm not there.
You get that vibe?
That's funny, Brian. Yeah, it did.
On Twitter,
what?
On Twitter, both sides are
Yes.
saying it's going to be a landslide, and they're just doing that so that everybody fights after.
I don't know. I can't.
There's no way it's going to be a landslide.
I voted over the weekend. Have you voted yet?
No, I vote on election day because I'm a man.
What does that mean? You're a man.
I can stand in line and breathe other people's breath.
I was in and out in like 4 minutes. It was so nice. We went. Kim and I went with JP, and it was in and out.
Later, Mike.
It was great. Yeah, Alphabet guy. I'm not sure about Lemoyne. I mean, we'll see. I mean, they finished 9-7 in conference last year. The thing is, their roster is completely different than it was a year ago. There's, but they could score. They get up and down the floor. I think they've got more talent than they did last year. So, yeah, I think they are. I think there's optimism within the program.
I had a weird thing happen at Dunkin' the other day. The girl asked me if I actually liked my order.
What do you mean?
Because I used a free coupon to get it because I have points, and I've done that 2 times in a row. And she goes, "Do you ever pay? Do you just get this because it's free?" I go, "No, it's because I bought. Yes, because I bought so many of them. I could probably go the rest of the month without having to." Welcome back to Orange Nation. Our artist of the day, the Pretenders. Got brass in my pocket. I don't know what that means.
All right, let's go to the phone
I wouldn't
lines.
look that up on Urban Dictionary.
Steve in North Syracuse going to have the final word here in hour number 1. Hey, Steve.
Yeah, I got a good story about the game. There was a fan behind me. He was a Syracuse fan dressed in orange, but he was a grumpy sort. And every time Virginia Tech scored, he would say, "Game over." And we finally got to the end of the game, and Virginia Tech fumbled, and we got the ball, and I got to turn around to him and say, "Game over."
I love it.
I think, one question that comes up is why not go for two at the end of regulation and end it right there with the other team not having a chance? And I think there's two reasons why Fran does that. One, we've got some gamers on our team that just play like supermen in overtime. We seem to be a really terrific overtime team. And secondly, in overtime, you can have a bad play, and it doesn't necessarily end the game. And if you go for two, it's all one shot. So far, he's had two situations like that, and he's gone for overtime, and it's worked both times. And I think that's what his thinking may have been.
Well, I love it, Steve. I love both your points. Number one, good trash talking. That was a good job there as the game wrapped up. Number two, you bring up the point about overtime, and I do think that's interesting, Paulie, because generally they tell you that if you're at home, you go to overtime. Yeah. Or if you're the underdog, that's when you try to win it. I think it's interesting because it's happened in both locations. It happened at home and it happened on the road. And I think it's interesting that he went for the tie in overtime on the road because I think that speaks to confidence in your team.
Yeah, I think I would always go for overtime with the rules the way it's set up.
I think if you are an underdog, I get why. Like if you're like, there's no way we can stop them, or you're worried about your defense. I understand why you would play for the win, right? If you think you are the inferior team, you play for the win. It's one play. This is our best chance to win the game. I think it's interesting that both times now he has looked at it and in both different scenarios said, we are the better team. Even though, incidentally, they were the underdog statistically in both games. We're the better team. Let's go to overtime and try to win.
I honestly think it's easier to stop somebody from scoring a touchdown than it is to convert a 2-point conversion. I don't know why, but that's my thinking, and I would be like...
I think you have to have some confidence in your defense to do that.
I would if I was Fran Brown.
Right. And you have to have, you've got to have confidence that you're going to be able to make the extra point, which has been a dicey proposition.
Correct.
Right? And I think there was a lot of people holding their breath on the extra point at the end of that game to send it into overtime, but they got it, and they got the one
and you're like,
in OT as well.
If you're full strength, in football, it's not like basketball where you can look down the bench and go, I got like 3 guys in foul trouble. Let's, let's shoot a 3 here instead of a 2 or,
Well, right. I mean, it's kind of like, I'll be honest with you, you said you were watching the Dolphins-Bills game yesterday. I kind of thought the Dolphins might go for 2 when they tied it at the end because I think that was a situation. They were on the road. I think they were the inferior team. And what's your best chance to win? If you give Josh Allen a chance to go the length of the field and all he's got to do is kick a field goal, chances are you're going to lose the game, and that's what happened. So
yeah, and speaking of the PAT, Brian brings up a good point. I've never seen a guy that far in the backfield on a kick they did not block it.
Yeah, it was close. Yeah. It was close. Really, both of them in overtime and at the end of regulation, they were close on both of them. But yeah, no, I think it's interesting how he has talked about his confidence in his team to get the job done, and then afterwards he was asked about. I don't know if you have the soundbite there about overtime is LeQuint time, but he keeps going back to. They've got the best football player on the field in LeQuint Allen, and when it gets to overtime, the strategy is very simple. You get the ball to LeQuint, and he makes plays for you. And
they ran that play with the weird offensive line with 2 guys. I was like, I've seen this go horribly wrong. Right. What are they doing? And it worked great.
Yeah,
they ran like a shovel pass with 2 guys in front of McCord, and everybody else bunched to the left.
LeQuint Allen he's a tough kid. And
when you saw that lineup, did you this is a rookie coach making a rookie mistake?
I didn't think rookie mistake. I thought
because this
is an odd time to pull this out.
Yeah, when you've seen that, how many times have you seen that?
Usually it doesn't go well.
Yes,
right? Yeah. That's something you pull out in the middle of the game. Generally, again, I'm not questioning
or the
them.
Last player for the Cowboys.
It worked. I mean, they must have seen something that they liked about that particular play and the matchup it created, but. I wasn't thinking it's about to go horribly wrong. I was like, this is an odd time to bring this out.
I was like, ooh, this is Kyle McCord's going to get injured on this play, or we're going to lose 40 yards. But it worked.
It did work, and again,
have little faith.
I kind of go back to LaQuint Allen. He kind of encapsulates what this team is all about. The kid's tough, and he found a way to win that UNLV game and pick up the fourth down and get in the end zone that day. And he found a way to get in the end zone a couple of times here down the stretch against Virginia Tech. And this team is 6-2. We're going to take a timeout here. When we come back, we will bring you Fran Brown's weekly press conference coming up at the top of the hour. Keep it here. We're back after this on ESPN Radio.
No match game today. Too much going on. Oh, we got the presser, don't we? Yeah. I'm not very bright. He's going shopping at Walmart today, and he wants everybody to know that he's better than them. That's why he's wearing a suit.
Every Monday, we do an interview with one of the assistant coaches at 11:15 before I come over here. So I'm usually dressed up on Mondays. We had Jeff Nixon today, although, unfortunately, he was running late. And I could not stay for the interview, so I came here, and we had Batty do it.
What a team player.
Because I didn't want to be late for Paulie.
That's a first. Yeah. The Valari thing cost me on the match game. I thought they were going to run a reverse with Jeremy Pena. Pick up like 20 yards.
Trevor,
yeah. Jeremy. Why do I keep calling him Jeremy?
I don't know. Was it okay I corrected you there?
No. You knew who I was talking about. Don't ever correct me.
Oh, I didn't big time him. He was late by like 45 minutes. So I had to leave.
I read that as FBI formation.
I did too.
And I was like, why would you want the police in front of him?
You knew what he meant.
I did. I didn't question him like you do. I figured it out myself. I just kept my mouth shut. Up. Got to get my backup open. Oh, I wish I could get a nutritious meal. 2 out of the next 3. How's that? UConn being one, and then either one or the other 2.
It is time.
Welcome back to Orange Nation. Stop your sobbing, Steve. Maybe Syracuse fans could stop their sobbing about, oh, it's November. Ooh, eh. They won.
They did.
They haven't gotten the monkey off their back. How many wins in November do you have to get in order to get the monkey off your back?
I think if they have 5 games in November this year. You go 4-1.
Whoa!
I mean, I think that would get the monkey off the back. 3-2, you'd feel good about that. 4-1 though. Bye, monkey. So long.
Yeah, I would say so. Man, how many wins did that give them? That'd give them 9 wins, right?
Yeah.
Whoa! Settle down. Mayo Mo says we're winning out. Watch, he's on the team. That'd be 10-2, Steve. That's an aggressive pick.
That'd be a really nice bowl game.
Just a quick update for anybody that was watching the show on Friday of last week. Our producer Mike said he could kick a 57-yard field goal. We have it set up with the Dome for him to go over the Friday before the UConn game.
So day before, right?
Yeah. To kick. I will be in New York City because Syracuse plays a game, so we'll have like a camera at the Dome, me in New York City, you here. It'll be fun.
I look forward to that.
There's 0 shot he's making that kick.
Who will be there with him to make sure that he's not like practicing a ton before we go to him? Because you told me he gets 1 kick.
Paul, Pete Salas said he wanted to be there for it. He said no way.
Well, he said yes, he could kick it. He said no way he's going to make it. Right? Yeah. We appreciate Pete for letting us do that. That'll be fun. We're waiting on Fran Brown. He's set to step to the podium here any second now. I am curious if he's going to be asked about Zeed Haynes. I imagine he will be. Zeed Haynes was seen on the sidelines Saturday, and it looks like he is back with the team. It'll be interesting to see if he addresses that today. I'm interested if he's asked about the decision to kick the extra point and not go for 2 at the end.
I would like to know if he's ever seen Chance Westry.
Wrong sport.
We've asked everybody else. We can ask him too. That'd be funny. Is Chance Westry played today? What?
Syracuse getting set to take on BC. That'll be a noon kick on Saturday, and then we did learn a start time for the Cal game the following week, 3:00, right? Is that what we saw? 3:00
yes,
the following week?
It's Syracuse is the official CW team.
So noon
That's not
start
what you
out
want
west.
to be.
No.
You want to be the ESPN mothership team.
You keep winning, that game on Miami's going to be something else.
Yeah.
You would think. Could be an ABC game, certainly an ESPN game. I mean, let's see how things shake out, but Syracuse keeps winning, Miami keeps winning. I mean, Miami's up to number 4 in the polls right now.
Did CW used to have the frog?
I believe you're right. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I'm just killing time in order to get to Fran Brown. I'm looking at an empty microphone.
All right, I was going to say, you got it up? We're monitoring?
I've got the audio from us up, and I've got the News Channel 9 feed
as well. The backup. Okay, good.
We're prepared.
We are ready to rock and roll when Fran Brown steps to that
Maybe
podium.
they're running a little late today. You said Nixon was a little late?
He was a little bit late, yep. Yeah, I don't know. I guess, maybe it's a theme. I would assume he's going to be there any moment now.
Somebody told me to give Mike 3 kicks. No. I have $500. I'm not giving him 3 kicks.
Are you concerned at all about
there's a 1% part of me that's like, if I had to sit him down and go, look, I'll give you the $500. You can't expect the listeners that said to do it. Like, I wanted them to be realistic. Like, you can't be bugging listeners for money. If they want to come give it to you, that's fine, but don't be heckling people.
I mean, still $500.
That's a lot.
That is. I thought there was 0 chance Tyler Bass was going to make a 61-yard field goal with the game on the line yesterday, but he proved me wrong.
You thought that it was impossible for Phil Mickelson to win.
I did. You're right. I did. I said
to win again.
You asked me if I wanted to be in, and I said I would rather just burn $20. And You proved me wrong, and I will never make fun of you ever again when you bet something.
It's so far. It's so far. Like I went to the Dome Friday to set up, and I just stood there and looked, and it was so far away.
It's almost midfield.
He weighs as much as I do. Like I don't think that like he could generate enough strength.
Well, again, all right, we've got Fran Brown. We can continue this later. Fran Brown steps to the podium now.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. We're going to start with a brief opening statement from Coach. After that, we'll take questions. Raise your hand for questions. We'll come around with the mics. Thank you.
Very thankful for this week. This opportunity we got to go against Boston College. They got a real good football coach, Bill O'Brien, one of the better coaches in the country. He's coached at every level. He's done a good job, Super Bowls. I mean, his resume speaks for itself. I think his staff, Coach Will Lawings, who he has as the offensive coordinator, Tim Lewis, and then Matt Thurin. They got real good. This offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams. When we look at Thomas, I think their quarterback is extremely dynamic. So we have our hands full getting to go against a guy like him. He's like a little human joystick. You know, this kid can really play football. Then you got Ward, Robichak, Kyle, I know it's Kyle, I think it's Robichak, the correct way to pronounce his last name, and then Turbo. So those three, they got a committee of running the ball, and they all do well. They all got over 200-plus yards rushing the football, so they do a good job of running the ball, something that we need to be able to stop the run. We know that's something they'll do. And then Bond, who I like a lot, number 11, is really good. I think Bond, they got Morales, Harris, Skeet, Franklin, so all those dudes do well. From the defensive side of the ball, a kid that I know pretty well, Donovan, he's been that dude since he was young. You know, he was like that when he was at Williamstown High School. So I know him personally, know his family. Excited that he's having a lot of success in college football, doing a good job. So really happy for him and what he's doing. And they got Price, Cam Arnold, a bunch of other guys on the defensive side of the ball that they can all play. I mean, they do a real good job. I'm happy for this game just because, you know, the Syracuse, Boston College, you know, that whole rival thing it's going to be pretty intense. I know some guys that I respect dearly that played there. Mike Saravo was a guy that I know he'll be trying to text me and talking trash. And I know William Green personally, you know, a guy that we're from South Jersey together, him Atlantic City, me from Camden, New Jersey. So it's a lot of guys that are already, you know, excited that we get opportunity to play their school. So it'll be a good week. It's going to be a fun, good week. Great. We have to have a great week of preparation, but excited to have this opportunity to compete against Boston College and their fine staff.
Questions? We'll start over on the left side with Syracuse.com for right across the front.
Fran, we saw Zeed was at the game on Saturday and got to be around. Just, I guess, when did you know that he was going to be there? Did you know, or was it as a surprise?
I kind of knew. I mean, I better know. I'm head of the program, so I knew he's working his way back in. Hopefully everything works itself out and see how it all goes.
So he's back around like full time now and with you guys?
Just working his way back in, just getting everything to go, and just hopefully it works itself all out for him to be able to get back on the field within the next few weeks.
What was like your first conversation back with him and kind of some of the words shared?
I don't know. Like some things is like, what would you want me to say? Hey, I called him. I said, how you doing? He said this. We just happy that he's coming back. You know, I'm excited that he's get the opportunity to be back with us. He's back with the team. I know my face when I got a chance to see him on the sideline at the game. I was just extremely happy. I was very happy, thankful for him. Just happy that, you know, him and his family was able to push through all the stuff that they had to push through and get back. I was happy that he was able to go be there for his family, because sometimes family needs you. Even though we've became a family, we're his extended family, but his family was in their need of just having them all together, and happy that he was able to do that, and we're very thankful though that he's working his way back with the team.
Chris, then Brent.
Fran, a couple guys that weren't in uniform on Saturday. I wondered if you could share sort of their health status. You've seen Willis, Dennis Jaquez, and Carlos Del Rio Wilson?
Probably be the same thing again. They'll probably still have the same attire on this week that they had on last week. So, but they're not completely back. Willis is working his way back. He's almost there. But when you know you had a slight high ankle sprain, it's kind of hard to deal with. And he's a running back, so he has to cut. Got to do those things. But he's working his butt off. Dennis is almost done with what he was going through. So I think he got another week or so. And then Carlos has like an injury that's kind of long. It's pretty long lasting. It could have him out for the year, possibly. We're not sure, but he's been working his butt off, though.
Thank you.
Brent?
Fran, we saw Jackson Kennedy get in at kicker. That's your third kicker this year. Is it his job now, or are you still kind of evaluating during the week who looks the best and that's who kicks for you?
Hey, can you kick?
Unfortunately, I can't.
Yeah, if you could kick, like it's just how it is in our organization. It's always open. Everything's competition. You see different guys on the defensive line going in, different linebackers, different secondary guys. I mean, it's always competition. So if you're not on your A game and someone else happens to be on their game, we try to make practice like the game. So that helps. And I thought he competed the most the last week and a half. He had the best showing. So when it was time to go into the game, we had confidence because of what he done in practice to put him in, and that worked out for us.
We'll go on the right to Dan, then Christian.
Fran, Kyle McCord obviously has led this season in a lot of national categories. He's been first in the country in certain categories, fourth in others. He's had a lot of support. He's also had a lot of criticism. How have you seen him as a leader on this team through the games that you've had kind of navigate through the love and navigate through the criticism?
Even kill. He just stay the same. We don't really worry about that. Just focus on his family and what's in the building. Because at the end of the day, that's who's going to be there with you through the ups and the downs. You know, nobody's really around during the downs. And I think he understands that his family will always be there. I think the kid has unbelievable faith. So he's going to always lean on his faith, leans on his family, and then he locks in on our football team. I mean, he is our leader, so we're just all there together. We just stay the same, He's the same guy every day, though. Yeah.
What's been kind of his biggest elevation of his game, just what you've seen from him? I mean, you saw something when you were in the transfer portal looking to bring him in, but what he's shown you up to this point, what sticks out in a 6-2 record of his leadership and of kind of his style and the way he goes about being the leader?
Just the way he prepares, his preparation, how he's able to bring others along, how he's able to make people see the way that he prepares and his preparation for the game, and they're able to do that and mimic that and want to do the same thing. He's a leader. It can be by voice, but also it's by example because he's always doing the right thing. You know, a kid that hasn't missed a class the entire semester, he hasn't been on a late list the entire semester. So all of those things that he's doing that's the right way is what you want to exemplify your program. And I think he puts Dart out on the map. When you see him, it's like, dang, okay, that's what it means to be that.
Christian?
Coach, what improvements did you see from your team as the game went on to open up more lanes and room for Quinn Allen to run to have the impact that he had in the second half?
I just felt as though we stuck to it. We kept doing it. You know, it wasn't a situation that we just didn't do it. We just did it. You know, and I think when you keep doing something, eventually it works if you believe in it. So I think it was consistency and belief. You know, that's something that we showed him, which is relentless, technically in the R of Dart.
Maddie?
Coach, Virginia Tech game, the offense wasn't quite able to get going, and the defense struggled to kind of contain Virginia Tech. Heading into the Boston College game, you know, what are maybe some of the things that the team's working on, and, you know, points that stick out to you about Boston College that might be points of, you know, discomfort or struggle for you guys this weekend?
We just got to go stop the run. You know, that's the one thing we want to be able to do is stop the run. But I'm saying I'm kind of like, I just really worrying about Boston College. I think that they're a good football team, so we have to put all of our attention on them, and I feel that they can run the ball well. I think that quarterback has a good arm. He could throw the ball deep, you know, and he takes advantage of doing that. I think that people aren't paying attention to how well he can spin the ball and he can run. So, you know, there's a lot that gets done with it, but we just got to be able to focus on that. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they have like an NFL scheme. So, you know, they sending and doing a lot of stuff. You know, it's different guys blitzing. I think they do a good job up front of disguising who's going to blitz and when they're going to blitz and how guys are dropping and things of that nature. So, it's going to be a big game. It's going to be a good game. It's a rival, right? You know, we talk about it being a rival, and I'm excited about it. I get a chance. Fran Brown gets a chance to go against the great Bill O'Brien. So, you know, I'm excited for that opportunity.
WAR and then Samantha and back.
Coach, obviously you guys came back from down 18 this week. What would you say you felt like was the turning point of the game this weekend?
I don't know. I just know we won. I'm just honestly, I just want to move on. You know, like when we lose, I'll be wanting to move on. When we win, I want to move on. I want to do the same thing. I just think the turning point was the fumble at the end of the game that we got. And then they said that we won. So before that, it was just good football. I don't know. I just want to move on because I don't want to be a hypocrite and want to keep talking about the past. You know, we're just going to continue to learn from it. Overtime. You know, once it went into overtime, when they took the knee for the last play, and then we knew we had overtime, that's where it's like, all right, I know y'all can't beat us in overtime. And not saying them, but just differently, you know, and just different stuff that happens throughout games that, like, you know, our band was out there doing their thing, and they was kicking in the middle of our band. Like, I don't like that. Those kids go to class. They practice every day. They doing all that. So when I seen that, and I heard that, I was really pissed about that. Like, don't nobody disrespect our band, you know, and do those things. So I'm happy it went the way it went, you know. But honestly, I'm ready to go play Boston College. And that's no disrespect to their coach or whatever like that, but it's certain things you don't do, and you don't disrespect Syracuse band when they out there doing that stuff. So that's kind of how that went.
Hey, Coach, thanks for taking the time. I just want to know, a comeback win like that, does that make you think that the Dart philosophy that you've been preaching all year long is working in those moments? Or what aspects of Dart do you see in a win like that?
Relentless and tough. I think accountability, because early on things aren't going the right way. So just being accountable, relentless and tough. You know, just being able to do that. And I think it's all for, at a certain point in time, you got to start to become detailed when things aren't going the right way, like the bus. First touchdown, the deep pass they threw to get down there, one of our guys didn't go to the right half of the field. Everybody think it was the corner, but that's not how it was supposed to be played. So we weren't detailed in the things that we were doing. We weren't holding each other accountable. You know, I started to make sure that I held everyone accountable, and I think that we just held ourselves accountable. You know, we started to live what we do. I think we practice hard, so just kind of went back to practice, go back to the basics, and let's just follow Kyle McCord. You know, Kyle's the leader. LeQuint's a passionate football player. Fadel, Marlowe, and those guys on the defensive side of the ball. Be the leaders that you are. And I think when your leaders are doing things the right way, then it goes. And that's what I'm hoping they do all week. Like today when we go to practice, the leaders got to lead the right way. And when dudes aren't doing the right thing, they need to be held accountable, you know. And they have to practice all the way through the practice, which is being relentless. Finish it all the way through and just show toughness when you don't want to do stuff. Consistently being able to do that, which is, are you committed? Do you care? And can we trust you? It's just actions, you know. So just being able to do that. It's a great question.
Right across the front.
Yeah, hey, Coach. Arande had his first catch not till midway through the third quarter and only finished with 2. What's the importance of getting him involved more early this week against Boston?
Man, I just want to win. So if that means he got to catch no balls and we win, then he just don't catch no balls. Like, I guess you say balls. But if he can't, like, if he don't get the football thrown to him and we still win the game, then I'm cool just as well as he's cool. You know, but he just got to he'll do other stuff. You know, we know how to get him the football, know what's needed to get him the football, and then he just got to catch them all too sometimes, you know. It's different things that goes on, but he's a really different threat, so people kind of double him and do other things. It opens it up for other people because you do have a Rondé on the field.
Justin?
Coach, you mentioned several times getting the opportunity to go up against Bill O'Brien. What have you sort of learned about yourself and how you can prepare your team in order to, you know, face an experienced coach like that in a rivalry match like this?
I just focus on me, though. I was just saying that because I know him, and he's a good dude or whatever. He's a really good coach and has done that, but yeah, I'm just focused on me. I'm going to do the same stuff over and over. I ain't changing up because of, you know, how I do it, and just make sure I prepare our players the same way and be able to focus. And I don't want to make it about Coach O'Brien. I'm going to make it about Syracuse football and the way we do things.
Coach, career day for LeQuint last weekend. BC sort of struggled in the run game over the last couple of games against ACC opponents. Could we see more of a balanced offense on Saturday, a little bit of run and pass similar to the Virginia Tech game?
You can see whatever you look at Saturday when you watch the game. Whatever's needed for us to win a game is what I just want us to try and do, you know. We have to try and take what the defense gives us So whatever that may be, then that's what we'll do. And if that means keeping LeQuint involved, then that's what we're going to do. If it means having Kyle McCord run the football, then that's what we're going to do. Whatever it takes to win, that's just what we're trying to do. We want to win by all means. We just want to win. I just want to win. That's it.
Emily?
Fran, what are the keys, or maybe what are you emphasizing this week to make sure this team gets out to a hot start against BC and doesn't fall into a hole like the past 2 weeks?
Tackle. We just got to tackle. We got to tackle, we got to hit, we got to tackle. We got to be able to tackle. It's the most important thing, that we're able to tackle. If we tackle well on special teams, we tackle well on defense, then I think that we'll be fine. Getting an opportunity to go against a team that can run the ball extremely well, we have to tackle, and that's the number one thing that needs to happen, is for us to tackle and break a few tackles. Here and there, so then that way things will go its way. But we just got to tackle. That's the number one thing that I'll say. Tackle and no bust, right? No, don't bust. Eliminate big plays. So won't be able to do that.
Fran, how's King Joseph Edwards progressing in his freshman year, and do you see him playing a role in the pass rush or in any defensive form down the stretch?
He's been playing a role in the pass rush. He's been doing it. He just got to get to the quarterback now, too, right? I think that it's everything. And I talked to King about it. I got to keep maturing King, so I got to keep doing a good job of maturing King. I talked to you about it. Once you take in 3 steps forward, you can't go backwards. You got to keep going forward and keep being able to do that on and off the football field. So King's going to constantly be challenged by me right now. King is extremely dynamic, one of the better pass rushers probably in this entire conference. But I just got to keep challenging King to consistently do everything right. You guys like the football part of it. I like the classroom. And he's doing okay in the class, but I just like everything. I like to, were you there on time? Did you do this? Did you go to the dinner? Did you go to do that? Did you do this? All of those things count. Because when I tell you to go 3 steps up the field, and then he say to get back inside, and then you go 4, well, you was late to class. You know what I'm saying? So it's different things that we have to get him. And you got to remember, King's a true freshman, right? Young, still just turned 18 years old. So it's a lot that he got to keep learning and keep doing. But I think that him and Coach Nick are doing a good job working together. And King will be well. He's doing good with us. But I know guys wanted to see a lot more since he had the 3-sack game and all those things. But he has to do well in everything in order to be able to get those opportunities to go do that. That's just how it is. You got to live right to get things. So when there's success with no sacrifice, you need to run or figure out really, really fast how to work really hard so I could get what I just got that I didn't earn. And I tell our players that all the time. Success without sacrifice, that's scary, That's scary. So one thing that I don't want to allow victory to defeat us, because victory can defeat you, and we don't want that to happen.
Take 2 more for Coach. We'll go Maddie, then finish with Chris.
Coach, well over halfway into the season now. I'm just curious, what has been, your, favorite part of learning how to be a head coach this season? Whether that's, something that you guys are doing in practice weekly, or in the grand scheme of things, what has kind of been something that stuck out that's, your favorite part of learning how to be a head coach?
Talking to y'all. No, I'm fine. I think building a relationship with all the players. Just constantly talking to every player. You get an opportunity now to truly build a relationship with every player on the team. That's my favorite part. Being able to build with them, being able to talk to them all outside of football. And, I work hard at that, and that's important. Building a relationship with them, they're amazing. They're great young men. They're going to class and they play football. They do a lot. Even when they're not trying, if they might not be getting everywhere on time or might not be doing everything the right way, I wouldn't trade it for anything to be able to build the relationships that I'm building with them. You guys asked me about King. I wouldn't trade it in the world to be able to help King become the man that he is, because you could see it. You just want them to see what you see already for it to go faster, which unfortunately doesn't happen that way all the time. But I think my favorite part is building a relationship with all of the players, and then with the coaching, trying to build a relationship with them. But you know how it is, coaching is kind of a little bit different, because I kind of it's business, and guys don't know how to still be cool outside of the business part of it. But I'm just saying, I'm like this all the time, no matter who it is, unless I'm screaming, what you guys seen. So back and forth. But that's my favorite part. they'll build in with our players. And I got to work on trying to make sure I can do the same thing with coaches off the field. I mess with the players all the time. Everything else is kind of like me and the players. The players are everything. The players mean everything to everything. So that's what it is.
And Chris, we'll take the last question.
Fran, you guys mixed in a lot of offensive linemen over the course of that game. Do you think that helped sort of as the game went late, and is that approach you sort of want to use moving forward?
Yeah, we like to recruit. And when you recruit and you got a lot of good players, you better play them or they're going in the portal. Just the nature of the business. If you got good players sitting on the bench, they're going to say bye. So all the other coaches out there that don't want to play all your good players, don't play them. Let me get them. You know what I'm saying? But that's it's the nature of the business. I think they all do a good job. I think Joe Cruz deserves to play. Enrique Cruz deserves to play. Josh Iola deserves to play. Like, all those guys practice just as hard as the other guys. Why would they not get in the game also? Those dudes deserve to play. Like, it's one linebacker that didn't get in the game, and I told him I apologize. Like, James Hurst should have played this past weekend. Like, James Hurst should have been in the game 40 to 50% of the game. And he wasn't in the game, especially when what was going on. He should have been playing. And you apologize for that because those guys are practicing too. Now, he has to take some accountability for certain things, but when you look at it, like, why didn't James Hurd play? Mistake on us. Like, dudes should be in the game. It's different guys that stuff is happening that guys should be in, and when they should, I tell them. When they shouldn't, then they won't. It's like we had a DB that was acting all pissy about stuff, and I called him Thursday night, and I said, yeah, you've been acting really, really weird all week. What's up? And he said, I deserve. I said, you don't deserve. You know what I'm saying? You deserve. What do you mean you deserve? Like, and then you start telling them a couple plays that mistake happened in this game when we played NC State. Mistake happened in this game when we played them. This happened in practice. You didn't do this at the classroom. You were late for that. So how do you deserve? No, that's called entitled. You don't deserve anything. You deserve to not be on the travel squad right now. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. So that's why we play everybody, because we want to keep everybody here. And I just think Syracuse is a good place to be, and I don't want those guys to want to leave this education because they may not be getting the time on a football field. Like, sometimes you can make a kid happy with him just playing 7 minutes. So why would I not want him to get this prestigious education that he can get over 7 minutes on a weekend? So it's kind of like I try to bottle it all up and wrap it all together. So that way, how do I save his life and not have him run from adversity? I can help him with it slightly and then show him what he's doing and how he can get more, Yeah, y'all good? See you guys. Thank you.
Press conference from Fran Brown. Some deep stuff there. Yeah, I was going to say, especially at the end, some really deep stuff there. We'll take a timeout.
Is it weird hold on really quick, just quickly, because before people forget, is it weird that you coach now to keep kids?
It's not weird. I think it's just the way it is. For him to say it out loud, I think you and I both kind of looked at each other and like, oh, okay. And I get that coaches have to do it. I like his honesty, right? I like that he's open and honest about, telling us the story about the DB there. Like, he didn't have to share that. That was really insightful stuff. All right, we'll take a timeout. We can react to it on the other side. Phone lines open the rest of the way if you want to check in. 315-437-7644. Back after this on ESPN Radio.
I'm going to go get a Diet Pop, Diet Soda, Diet Pepsi, Diet Coca-Cola, whatever they got. Diet RC, Diet Top Pop, Diet W Pop. I saw Zeke Haynes and Chance Westry hanging out together, riding bikes.
Who was it?
It's just
Zeke Haynes with Chance Westry.
Yeah. Nessie and Sasquatch hanging out together. A diet squirt? Why do you sound like you got kicked in the nads? We need to check out the immune systems of ESPN Syracuse employees. What?
What's that?
I don't know. I just feel like everybody's always sick. That being said, I was late today because of filling file, but I don't know if that's sick. It's just being old. It's like, yeah, I hire people who lack T cells.
Maybe it's because you're working us too hard.
I'm not working anybody.
We're run down.
Sport. You signed up for this.
I'm kidding. Not you per se. I'm just saying. Maybe I'm not you. I'm just saying maybe we're all working too hard.
Give me a break. Wham. Are you sick? You're never sick. You've never had COVID.
That's true.
Freak. This is our song, Steve. The Pretenders. I'll stand by you.
Yeah, very fitting.
It's a great song. Let's take a quick time out. Then we'll get to Scooter. All right?
Up to you.
Yeah, let's do that.
Get back on time.
Yeah, Lights on the Lake coming up. LightsOnTheLake.com. 11:19's the doggy drive-through. Maybe I'll bring Indy without a date this year. I've given up on the dating.
Well, it's the offer's on the table. We asked you to the Spooktacular Stroll. You said yes, and then you changed your mind.
That's not a date, Steve. Going with you, your wife, and your kid.
No, but you could come if you would like.
Yeah, no.
You can experience it through the eyes of a 4-year-old.
I experience life that way every day, Steve. That wouldn't be new for me. We'll take a break. We'll get Scooter.
All right, we will do that. We'll get back on time. Back after this on ESPN Radio. What do you mean? Wait, take him. What do you mean?
I told you about a prop bet, I believe, last week, and hopefully you didn't take it.
Oh, no. Yeah, we did talk about it. No, I didn't. I just got a text from Sue. If we wanted to do a Greatest Syracuse Sports Hall of Fame person this week, tomorrow's probably a bad day because the SU game, right? But Wednesday, Thursday?
I would say Wednesday and Thursday are both less ideal days.
Oh, then tomorrow? I'll do 1:30 tomorrow.
1:30 would be good. Yeah, Wednesday, Schmelk's going to have to move up because he's in Germany, and then we're going to have Dan in the house call, and then Thursday we have Fran and Matt, and ideally a BC person.
Gotcha.
So Friday also could be doable if you want to do it
Tuesday,
earlier.
Friday?
But, I mean, Friday we do match game on that. So if you could do tomorrow 1:30. Oh, here we go. The drawing is happening.
Okay. I'll say in next Monday. Is that or is a bad idea? Oh yeah, because we have. Friday.
Oh, San Diego Q1. That's a hell of a trip. Randomizer number 2. Here we go. Well, ask him if he wants to come. Maybe he would like to come.
Yeah, that was. I couldn't believe that. Like,
Neither could I, but I mean, I know he uses anything for motivation, but like.
Matt from Auburn. You won dinner at the Fran Brown show if you want to come to Heritage Hill on Thursday. If you come, I'll buy, actually, now. It's back-to-back weeks. We've had 2-time winners. Matt from Manlius won. It was Matt from Manlius. You guys are wrong. Steve will loan you his private jet if you'd like to come, San Diego Q's. You have to pay for the gas, though. He's not that nice. Look at you being a dad, doing dad things. I told my dog, I'll be home soon.
My sister always says, I'll be home in a few dog minutes. That's what she always says. I'm not sure what dog minutes are.
They're longer than human minutes. You could be out the door for a minute and come back in and they act like you've been gone all day. And it's great.
Right, they have no concept of time, right?
Yeah. They're dogs, Steve. That's right.
No,
they
but
don't own watches.
What's that?
They don't own watches.
No, but you would think that they would know. Like it's a long day or a short day. Like if you go for an hour or 10 hours, they don't really know the difference. How is that possible?
Because they don't know time, Steve.
But how is that possible?
Is Steve breaking down that dogs actually know? Do dogs know time?
No, I get that they don't. Like that's what I've heard. But like, how is that possible? Like, how do they not know? Like today was like he was gone all day today, opposed to like he just left.
Dogs use their senses of smell, hearing, and observation to detect changes in the environment, and they can
Like, what if you leave when it's light
dogs
out and
don't
you get home?
understand time in the abstract sense of hours and minutes, and they can't read clocks. They don't have the ability to create actual measures of time.
Like if you leave in the morning when
They
it's
learn
light and you
through
get home,
daily
it's dark.
patterns and consistent schedules.
All right.
They can train to anticipate. Of all the dumb things we've discussed, that middle of the road, the Pretenders. I just play them randomly out of order. Still a good song.
All right, we kept Scooter waiting through the commercial, so let's get to him.
I got to hit something before you get to Scooter. You just asked why dogs don't know how to, like, tell time.
No, not tell time. They have no concept of time. All I said was...
because they can't tell time.
No, I know, but if you leave... Let's say you leave at 7 in the morning and it's light out, and you go all day and you don't see him again until it's like 7 o'clock at night and it's dark out. How do they not know the difference between that and if you leave at 7 a.m. and you get home at 8 a.m.? But, like, dogs have, like, no concept.
Yeah.
Right. I find that hard to believe.
Dog brains, Steve.
I find it hard to believe. That's all.
I can see you buying a dog and then trying to teach it to read a clock instead of, like, shake hands. Yeah, my dog can read a clock. Oh, great. That's fun.
Useful. Scooter in Jamesville up next. Hey, Scooter.
Hey, and first, Paulie, I saw a supporter for your president candidacy. I saw a bumper sticker that said honk, but don't tell you're voting for Paulie. So you actually got supporters out there, Paulie.
That's right. I am the hidden vote. Like people, like New York Times does the polling, and they ask people, and they're embarrassed to say me, but they will. They secretly vote for me.
You know what? You guys are talking about developing players, and I disagree with that. I think it's going to be a one-shot deal every year. I don't know if you happen to catch it. I know that the sports chat's been a little thirsty, but Mark Few from Gonzaga's, they actually announced a coach in waiting, so I think he's had enough of this stuff, too. He used to like to take players and develop them in 2 or 3 years, but he saw the 2 players that went to Wake Forest after developing them, Reed and Salas, so I think he's had enough, and players, coaches like Jay Wright and, of course, Bennett just announced his quick retirement. I think anybody that likes to take players and develop them, they just see the handwriting on the wall. So that's not a good sign because this is going to be like a one-shot deal. I think every year it's going to be a whole different ball game. I think, Paulie, that the game was the Xavier Farm was the game against Virginia Tech. Just have to go 2-2 to get your 8 wins, and it takes a little pressure off of the California game. It's interesting. It's a 3:00 game, so it'll be 12 noon out there. It's interesting when they leave, how early they leave for a noon game on the West Coast. I know how they left on Wednesday for a real late game when they played UNLV, so it'll be interesting to see how early they'll leave for a 12 noon game. Could anybody explain the last minute or 2 minutes of the first half? I mean, the officials looked like they were totally lost. It was an interesting thing where there's 2 kind of phantom calls against Virginia Tech. Kept moving it up, and then they missed the play where he was on his knee, ran it. Everybody thinks that they're looking at where he slid, and it wasn't. They're looking where his knee was, but they ran time off the clock where the coach goes, well, if he called the play right, I would have called the timeout with 18 seconds left. So they only had 7 seconds. They ran it. So does anybody explain what happened in the last minute, the official announcement?
You're right. I still am a little confused about the timing of that there was the 10-second runoff. I did not get clarity on that, Scooter, to answer your question. I know that doesn't really answer your question, but no, I did not get any clarity on that. Did you in the radio booth? I thought
they were given the choice of using the timeout or not, or in getting the runoff.
I believe Scooter's trying to check in. I believe the defense got the option of whether or not to use the timeout. Is that correct? Isn't that what the referee said, that the defense had the option but chose not to?
Yeah, it was just confusing from the start, and I just if they got the play right and blew the play dead, then I assumed Tech would call the timeout. And who knows? But, just to me, that's the over thing of the officiating this year. It's just every game you're watching, it just looked like there's confusion in just each game. And I don't know. It really wasn't explained well.
Yeah,
whatever did happen.
Brian is saying, and this is the way I perceived it also, Virginia Tech could have called their last time out to avoid the 10-second runoff. That's what the ref said, and they declined it.
Okay.
They really have 7 seconds in a timeout? Is that what they were saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
It made 0 sense why he did that.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Although the other way wouldn't have made sense either. So I didn't really understand what was going on there either. But yeah, okay.
Maybe Brent Pry is a dog and he doesn't understand the concept of time.
That's fair. In any event, they misplayed that. I know Fran, he spoke about that afterwards, that he was not happy with that last play of the first half, almost allowing Virginia Tech to score. He said he felt like they kind of quit on that play, but fortunately that didn't come back to bite him. That was odd. That whole last sequence was strange. Jordan has made his way here into the studio. What's up, Jordan?
Well, Scooter assisted with today's business.
Brought to you by who?
Grossman St. Amour CPAs.
And their website?
GSACPAs.com.
Not letting 2 days in a row where you guys steal my thunder.
What were you doing yesterday, Steve?
What was I doing yesterday? Why?
Stealing Paulie's thunder.
Oh. No, it's 2 shows. Oh, my God. I can't. Today. God save me.
I was watching the Bills game yesterday. I was watching a little NFL.
We all were watching. We all texted at the same time.
We did. I'm glad you guys are drawn in by these Buffalo Bills that are fun to watch.
We don't have a choice.
I was there. Yeah, it's on local. I have Red Zone. I have a completely legal Red Zone stream on the laptop, and then Bills on the TV as I do dishes and change litter boxes. If you're sitting back and relaxing like Grossman St. Amour allows you to do by handling your financials and watching us on Q Sports Talk, then you might see the poll. Paulie, what's your vote in our poll on Q Sports Talk right now? It's what trick would Steve teach his dog first?
Oh, definitely to read the clock. There's not even a question. That's the most boring thing.
You don't think so? You don't think Steve would teach Fido to pick winners on FanDuel?
No, he would definitely be like, okay, what time is it?
Which 1 o'clock?
I like the power wash the house. Then I wouldn't have to feel bad when
if
Kim went out there.
If he detected mayo in food, that would be pretty big. Kim couldn't hide it in the panko anymore.
That is true as well. These are all good choices. I think the most useful, though, would be read a clock.
Okay. Okay. I'm just going to be real quick. We can do more NFL tomorrow, ACC Power Rankings tomorrow. If you didn't see, Saquon Barkley spun and then hurdled a dude backwards. That is the most impressive individual play you have seen since blank. What comes to mind? I watched that so many times. Like, first of all, the kahunas, as Fran Brown calls them, to try that, knowing you could get destroyed and not even see it.
I said that today. It was like 2 extra yards is not worth the potential injury that you were going to suffer by doing that, but I mean, it was incredible. It does kind of remind me, the Barkley play yesterday. It makes what I'm going to say, it pales in comparison to the Lamar Jackson in the dome leaping a defender to score.
Pain.
But that's what it kind of reminded me of. But what Saquon did was on a whole other level.
I just can't believe he did that.
It was insane.
That's my biggest takeaway from the NFL weekend is like Saquon Barkley is
so I hadn't
legitimately.
seen it, and I forget where I saw it the first time, but the announcer, it was like the studio show at halftime of the late game or something, and they were like, you have to see this play, and the spin move was like, I was like, oh wow, like on the spin move, that was nothing, right? I mean, we were waiting for the jumping over the defender backwards. Like, where did that come from?
Unbelievable.
Dateline Boston. This is another scary one. The owner of a spa, Randolph and spas in Randolph and Southeastern, is accused of nearly injecting clients with $1 million of counterfeit Botox, according to federal charges. I don't know what counterfeit Botox is, but it doesn't sound fun. It's crazy that people inject themselves with a disease to be like bacteria to begin with.
You know what's scary? I don't know how much Botox costs. If $1 million makes it sound like he got through a lot of people before someone was like, this isn't right.
It gets even crazier. The dude bought it off of Alibaba, which is like Amazon in China. So he's just like buying bootleg Botox, charge $50 a vial. Authentic Botox is about $650.
Wow.
You are getting like dollar store. Like, would you ever buy vitamins from a dollar store? Because that's not actually, like, it's just filler, right? It's just like you're getting
the placebo, as they say, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, doesn't it say what percentage of each vitamin is in there?
Yeah, but it's not, it can't possibly, like, you're getting wood chips. Like, you're getting
they can't
particle
lie
board.
about it, can they?
I think so.
Like, they can't say it as 200% of your daily value of vitamin C, which is like comparable to others, if it's actually not, right?
I would guess not. Yeah, I would think that would be. I mean, that's illegal, which is what Paulie's bringing up here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's.
I'm also not ripping dollar store vitamins.
Yeah, but
I've never seen them.
I've learned that from batteries, like at the dollar store, you get what you pay for. Like,
well, they may be expired. Is that kind of what you're? Because
I don't know.
Vitamins can expire.
I don't know what I'm getting at. I'm just like,
don't go
curious.
to those spas in Boston.
Wow.
If you're up there for the game.
Well, now you can go because the guy got caught. So
you could all of a sudden trust him. The dude's injecting you with like dollar store Botox.
Man,
we got to take a break.
We do. We'll wrap things up.
By the way, we don't have to vote because I have a.
Okay, well, good because we don't have time. We'll wrap things up.
Election day songs.
Quincy Jones passed away, so we'll do songs he's produced.
Come on, let's do Hail to the Chief.
It's not an election.
We
song,
can't do
is
Dead
it?
Presidents, but good.
The
song.
Dead Presidents?
We can't. Is it a band?
Yeah.
Can you cut the cost of deodorant? Deodorant is way too expensive. It's kind of scary.
Really? I always buy the 2-pack of Degree.
Degree is okay, but like the Degree, it's too cakey.
Yeah, if I don't use the cakey, I just burn right through it. I'm just going to stink like B.O.
My friend put me onto Dove for men, which is way too expensive, but also the best combination of actual deodorant and not having just white stuff all over.
Don't buy birth control at the dollar store either, or pregnancy tests. Why is that?
What are you insinuating?
That they're going to be bad, Steve.
Yeah, you're rolling the dice if you're freaking using dollar store birth control.
No, I'll tell this guy it's not happening.
You know what I buy at the dollar store? My Tupperware, which is probably carcinogenic, but that's what I buy there. Speaking of Tupperware, I still have yours. They have like $5 things at the dollar store now. I was like, whoa, look at that. That's the toothpaste I use. Let me get that.
Some of that stuff, yeah. Like, why not?
But then it was $5, and it was more than actually Wegmans was charging for it.
I think it's just because it's like
Post game is Q Sports Talk
Express
only.
comes out with a newer version of what they do, then they'll sell the older version at the dollar store.
They're on my desk. Come get them. Come get them, Govendo. Just tell me what team you had, and you can take them right out. I'll let you right in, and you can take them off my desk. Set up a day this week. I've licked them all. I use my personality as I use my face. Does Pat and Vito call in tonight on the pre? Yeah, of course they do. They won't call in on this show. Vito, I would like to because he's a Steelers fan. That makes him slightly more tolerable to me.
A fine caller wanted to just say that whatever Fran Brown wants, Syracuse should pay him. That was pretty much the call.
Yeah, have him call in 3 weeks if they go 0 for 3, or you know. Or why wasn't he calling at halftime of the game?
Because they weren't doing well, I think.
Yeah, people will not be saying that next year, I don't think. You got to be happy with 6-7 wins next year.
I had some friends in from homecoming and
ridiculous.
friends who are like from here who have lived here their whole life. Both groups are at the game. Both of them told me that they were waiting on Virginia Tech to score one more touchdown and they were about to leave. Like the people were close to
I try not to
dipping.
leave any game early.
I don't know. Like, I don't know how you could,
especially if I paid for the tickets.
Yeah, there were some people leaving in like the fourth quarter. I saw. It's like, what are we doing?
Padres got smoked this year when I went to watch them, like 8-0. I sat through the whole game. My buddy's like, "Are you serious?" I go, "Yeah, I spend money on these tickets."
The seat's just as comfortable as it was an hour ago, boss. Plop down, pop a squat, something.
Welcome back to Orange Nation, back on the Chain Gang. Syracuse basketball back on the Chain Gang tonight. We will have pregame on the radio and postgame Q Sports Talk only because of Monday Night Football. Steve?
That's right. Busy night.
Quincy Jones will be the artist of the day because he passed away at 91 years old today.
Okay, there you go. And with that, we are out of time.
I have a question.
It's got to be quick.
If like, I know, I can see the clock. If something crazy happens during this game, are we booting Monday Night Football off? Like, you know, something real crazy.
You can't cut out in the middle of a Monday Night Football. No,
you can in case of an emergency.
No.
All right, we got to go. Newhouse
in case
Afternoons
another Lemoyne upset
coming up next.
I don't care about them.
All right,
I'm going to be
you're
late
going.
on
You're
purpose
going long.
now.
See, you stalled.
It wasn't on me. I was out in time.
I know, but no.
You were trying to get out early.
I mean, you asked a question with 5 seconds ago, so it's kind of on you.
You can't cut out of a game ever.
No, you're not going to cut out of a game. Newhouse Afternoons coming up next. Cody at 3, Brian at 4. We're back at it noon tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of the day, everybody.